Brady could have won more games if he had fit the system, but he didn't fit the system anymore. And the system in Tampa Bay is what it always was.
So it sounds like after 1 week, you guys are ready to bury Shanahan, the Niners, and Jimmy G. They're a one-hit wonder. You're already writing them off. They're gone.
I'm not burying the 49ers. I will agree with Lugs that on some level, I'm not going to say that Lugs agrees with me. The thing that puts 49ers on pause, at least from maybe winning the division, is at least two of the quarterbacks in that division are noticeably better than Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
So to think you're going to just waltz into the division because you have possibly the best roster, there's too big of a disparity with the quarterbacks to be like, oh, we're going to win everything. So,
all right, you want to talk about the AFC North? Do a little preview here. The Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals, that's how they finished last year. What happens this year? Why, we already know. We've got all the answers right here, right now, with our AFC North preview. Take it away, T-Dog.
That's right. This is actually the hardest question of the 4 questions I asked, I think. This might be the hardest division to say. Best coach in the AFC North.
I think you'd have to go with Harbaugh.
Ditto, Harbaugh.
See, we're in agreement. I feel bad about saying that, though, because Mike Tomlin has the same amount of losses as Harbaugh, but he actually has 15 more wins. He's 64% winning percentage to Harbaugh's 61. So, but I just feel how they won with Flacco. I mean, I hate to use this against Tomlin. He had a better quarterback, and just I feel Flacco was so overrated, and just also how quickly he adjusted to the difference between Flacco and Lamar, and obviously Lamar's ceiling I think is higher than even Ben Roethlisberger, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. Or at least I think, but like just that he was able to win as much as he did with Joe Flacco, I think is a very hard achievement to top. So,
yeah, and during those years, the Baltimore defense saved them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it was Thug Mania.
True.
But next question, please.
Next question: best offense.
Oh God, you got to go with Ravens. I mean, I can't see anybody in that division topping the Ravens.
Absolutely, lighten it up, man.
Again,
video game stuff.
Three in a row. And you look at the Steelers; they have a lot of talent, and it's not a knock on the Steelers. It's just we saw what Lamar did last year, what he did week 1. And then you look at the emergence of what looks like Hollywood Brown. They added J.K. Dobbins. Mark Andrews scored multiple touchdowns. That's all he did last year. So, yeah, it's the Ravens. So on the flip side, though, we've gone Ravens on both ones. The Ravens also get best defense.
Oh, that's a tough one right there. I think I would put the Steelers a little ahead of them, but not by much. But it could go either way.
Yeah.
Ravens.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with Lugs on this. I think the Ravens have a very good defense, but to it, DJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Devin Bush, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden. I give them a slight edge, but it is crazy to think like it clearly feels like, and this goes into the last question, who wins the division, and is there a wild card team also?
Yeah, I think at this point, Ravens win, and Pittsburgh would be your wild card of any of them.
I mean, barring injury, right? Like we don't.
If they lose Lamar, then.
And he's doing dumb stuff, and they had him in the game way too long, I thought, yesterday. Way too late in the game.
You all don't believe in RG3 if Lamar gets injured?
A little rust on that one, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
But for how many decades now are we talking Ravens, Steelers, and there are those two other teams from Ohio that have no shot ever? This has gone on forever.
Well, the unfortunate thing for those other two teams, not only is Cleveland one of the worst run operations, just period, in the NFL. And I know the Bengals haven't been great. They've, at least in the last decade and a half, had flashes. So they're not
true.
They're mildly incompetent, not totally incompetent. But it just hurts them that you have two of the best run organizations in your division. But
and two of the worst run in football, right there in the same division. It's wild.
I mean, again, we didn't talk about this game, and I'll just keep this real quick. I also agree with you all. Ravens win, Steelers make wild card. But I just want to say, I don't know. I'm a part of his fan club. I might even be the president. Joe Burrow on that last drive showed flashes, and I understand why they called that OPI. They usually do not call that with 11 seconds to go in the game. That should have been – and also just the story of it. I know they don't care about it. Just the story of this guy who's supposed to be this chosen one, him winning on a game-winning drive week one. It could have been a better story than a ho-hum Chargers team wins in Cincinnati. It's not as I don't know. That's not how the league wants to operate. It's just, I mean, look at that Chargers team, and I'm not even saying they won't be able to make the playoffs, but like that's not a team like years down the road where you're like Tyrod. This is where Tyrod went on his tear where he became a Hall of Famer.
All right, that's that. Should we talk about a little college football before we go today?
Well, before we go away from NFL, just completely.
Yes.
New York Jets was the worst prepared team I have ever seen. First quarter, hey, I believe I could have run off tackle, and I clock in at about an 8:10:40. So, I mean, gosh, I just never saw it. It was one of those things. It was like watching a car wreck.
8:10:40. I'm writing that down. Okay. At the combine next year in Indy, 8:10.
Yeah.
40. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. The Jets and Adam Gase and those eyes shooting through the masks now. It just.
Yeah. So that was my last moment with the NFL for this time. But the college stuff, I got to say, I don't know if you caught any of that Arkansas State, Kansas State.
I did, actually.
Jonathan Adams, that receiver.
Yeah.
He could start right now for the Jets for sure. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, they took it to K-State.
Mm-hmm.
The Sun Belt did a great job on this particular weekend. I got to give it to them because a couple of those teams were paying for those wins.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't get what you paid for, did you?
You're right. Sun Belt went 3-0 against Big 12. Louisiana beat Iowa State 31-14, Arkansas State 35-31, and Coastal Carolina 38-23 over Kansas. Actually, second year in a row, Coastal Carolina beat them. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Chanticleers.
Don't bring that crap up in here, baby.
And how about College Game Day coming to Louisville? And that's for the third time in Louisville history. The Louisville-Miami game gets the big bright lights of primetime on the big stick, ABC. That means Herbie will be in the house Saturday night.
Oh, man.
How about it?
If U of L can really have a good showing and win that game, I predict they will play in the ACC championship, period.
Writing that down. They will play in the ACC.
Did you see any? I mean, obviously it's Western and,
Yeah,
so
you're right.
There is that aspect. But they've got three of the best receivers, two great backs, and Mikhail Cunningham has matured a lot. And the defense is much, much improved. I think you're going to hear from those boys. I just was impressed with I saw like a part of the third quarter and part of the fourth quarter, and by then they were coasting really. But it was impressive. Satterfield, man, that whole coaching staff, those guys, whatever they're doing, the players are buying in.
Well, let's look at it this way. With 2/5 of the Big Five, Power Five conferences not playing ball, I mean, Louisville's got like a pretty good line of fire to make some headway into some postseason, right? I mean, again, God willing, everybody stays healthy, but.
Well, I think Big Ten, they're gonna play.
They're gonna punch the clock.
The dollar signs are gonna just get too heavy. It's gonna tip that scale.
T-Dog, you've thought that all along, right? Big Ten's gonna play in.
They're gonna play, but again, the thing that's interesting is I don't know if they come in late, like let's say if they even come in mid-October, or I think the Pac-12 talked about it, even if they come back, they can't come back till mid-November. You can't have a playoffs with them that stretched out that far, right? Because then you'd have to wait till
can't get enough
February
games.
Yeah. I mean that's the thing is like everyone's just gonna have to be happy with winning their conference and maybe who's ever ranked number one at the end of the year, like how it was years ago. Like there's not gonna be a championship game.
Nebraska, number one every year. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like we talked about last week, if they beat Miami, besides Notre Dame, they have a good shot of going 10-1. And I'll be honest with you, and I know this is me being biased maybe to U of O. I watched Notre Dame. They played solid, but like this doesn't feel like a upper echelon Notre Dame game. So I'm not gonna say it's really in the realm of possibility, but I think it can happen with how well U of L was humming against Western. Well,
and honestly, Skip Kelly out of there. Come on, let's get somebody in there.
Skip
Kelly. Hey, no.
Is his first name really Skip? I don't think so.
But
DeForest Kelly, I think, is who you meant. That's who that is, isn't it? Oh well.
So, and just when you watch Clemson, I don't think anyone's in their spectrum on the ACC. I know that's not
the real deal. Men amongst men, men amongst boys.
I don't think it's a bold take, but you watch them, it's like okay, they're just Wake's started, I think, a total crumb bum, and they just made them look like Richmond, University of Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, Clemson, they could just coast. I mean, it was just, okay, you go down there, turn right there, boom, ball there. I mean, that one section that I saw just in the highlights, it was just like, there was no defense that was going to stop what they were doing. They just didn't have the horses.
No. So. And it felt like they were just like looking up the obscure like stats. Is like, what's the last time like a quarterback scored 2 touchdowns? Well, let's give that to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
It's like they're just like looking in their history books. Like, let's do that.
It'll be interesting. I want to see some SEC play and see if Alabama measures up. If Florida is who we think they are, to go back to Denny Green. The
Bears are who we thought they were.
Hey,
that's right.
Overall, for football fans, this was a great weekend. There were some dud games and things, but it was like good to get back to some football and to have, just stuff to talk about, honestly.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited. The one team in the SEC that I'm really excited to see is Georgia, just because they finally are getting out of the old Alabama. Let's just run the ball. They got Todd Monken from the NFL, and he was part of the Bucs offense, where they were kind of pass happy. So it'll be interesting to see Georgia join the 21st century offenses in college football. So,
all right. Do we have anything else today?
I think we're good. I think we covered a lot of ground.
It's our 50th. episode. Here's a little bubbly, gentlemen.
Woohoo! All right.
Drink it in good health. Don't drink and drive. Call Uber, Lyft.
And